It seemed like Tupac and Death Row, it was like a match made in heaven. You know what I'm saying?
It was.
Like it was like, you know, you had the biggest gangster label, and then you had Pac, he was, you know, had controversy after controversy. How did they end up linking up?
Well, they ended up linking up because Pac needed some assistance while he was in custody in prison, and nobody wanted to fuck with him. Y'all can say Madonna was. She was coming up there seeing him and all of that. Madonna had $1.5 million. She could have posted it for him to get out of prison if she wanted to. Did she? No. So that's why they linked up. It was a business decision on both of them part. But people think it was bad and all bad because old white men decided there was some money to be made off of this and started bad-mouthing Suge and Death Row, talking about he was owed money and he was going to leave and all of that. No evidence, nothing to the truth about any of that.
Oh, Tupac wanted to leave?
That. Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to quite a few people, and they've all said that Tupac loved being on Death Row. There was a lot of rumors about Tupac wanting to leave Death Row. Did you ever see anything like that?
For what? I don't understand it. For what? I mean, let's go back. Pac ain't had no money before he came to Death Row. If he did, he would have got his own ass out of jail. Sorry. So I think that he appreciated what Suge did for him. Nobody else was reaching for Pac. All them rich ass friends that did all those videos and we love them and da-da-da-da-da, kisses to you, but none of you motherfuckers went and got him. I mean, the bail was high, but $1.5 million is not high for rich people. The only person that went and believed in him, that put the money, their money, it wasn't Pac money. Pac hadn't sold any records, was Suge Knight. And I'm sure it was an investment. But at that time, it was an empty investment because Pac hadn't recorded anything and Suge was the only person to believe in him. Interscope and those other people had given up on him. And for Suge to take his money and to go get him and turn him into the superstar that he became. His jewelry changed. He went from wearing flea market machine gun rings that was connected to one finger to diamonds all over his fucking body. Look at the videos, look at the things. What is he leaving for? Suge was getting them and giving them. Suge was perfect at spoiling you. No other CEO was taking care of their artists like Suge was. You didn't have to have out a record to drive a Benz.
There's video evidence out there. I mean, he had to be the best actor in the world, and Snake. 5 days before he died, he was over there praising Death Row East and how they about to start this new company on Death Row on the East Coast called Death Row East.
Right.
It's footage. It's out of his own mouth proclaiming that. But now you got all these people that we never even heard of. They wouldn't even be involved in this business like that, making statements that Pac was unhappy. Pac wanted to leave. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Both sides like to take credit for putting up the money to get Tupac out of jail, Interscope and Death Row. What actually happened with all that?
Well, Interscope cut the check. However, Death Row was responsible for the money. And it was billed back, it was recouped out of whatever their deal was. And so we had to pay their money back. And so I'm sure the money was paid back or was taken from something.
Probably Tupac, right?
Well, no.
Eventually.
Eventually, but Tupac, they had other monies coming in. They had the Dog Pound album out. They had, money still owed from the Chronic and Doggy Style and Above the Rim and Murder Was the Case. They had all type of money coming, but Tupac, all the money that was eventually made from Tupac, his first accounting wasn't due until 180 days from February the 13th, 1996. So what's that, September the 13th or August the 13th?
Something like
whatever
that.
6 months is.
What's that mean, his first accounting?
In your contracts, from your album, the company is not due a royalty statement, or you're not due a royalty statement until 180 days from the time your album is released. Okay. And let's say Tupac had the greatest deal, $1 a CD. which is a great deal. Most people don't know. They think it's make so much money. Let's say Tupac was making $2 a CD, right? If he had the best deal, which all Death Row did was took the contract and took the assignment that Interscope had already had. So it was only like an 18, 20% contract with some bumps if it sold a lot of records. So let's say, for sake of argument, he was to make 25%, 25 points is what they call it. Most record companies, most artists only get 18%, 18 points off of the album. But that's for the sake of argument, 22% points. He shipped 560,000 records first week. Probably from that time period, Pac probably sold, let's say 2 million records. We know it eventually got up to 10 million, but I'm talking about up until September. Let's say he sold 2 million records. That's a double CD, so that's 4 million records. At $2 a record, Pac was only due $8 million from the royalties from Death Row for that album. Look what all Pac had within that time period. That's why it's always funny to me how people say, he was owed this money, Suge cheated him out of this money. $8 million is what was owed to Pac at that time. If he had the best deal in the world, you know. Let's do the math on that. You got studio time you got to pay for. All those songs y'all see that then leaked out and is out there, he did on Death Row in 11 months. You got to pay for that. You got to pay side artists. People always think, well, why Pac was paying for Nate Dogg child support? It was built that because Nate Dogg appeared on 2 songs on Pac album. So you got to pay side artists. You have to pay the producers. You got to pay for the studio time. You got to pay for security. You got to pay for when you was in a limo. He bought a house during that time period in Calabasas. He was living in a penthouse on Wilshire. That was about $10,000 to $12,000 a month. He had a Rolls Royce. He had a 500 SL. He had a Jaguar. He had a Hummer. All of this stuff was bought on Death Row money. He had the outlaws out here living out here who was getting taken care of. He was getting $10,000 pocket cash money a week to walk around with. He stayed in the Peninsula Hotel in a suite at $5,000 a day rate for 2 to 3 months. Come on, y'all. I'm not saying that he didn't eventually Death Row didn't eventually make the money off of him, but he was in an unrecoupment status from the first 180 days of his record deal.
Right.
So I just said that in response to you said, oh, he probably paid for it. Probably eventually did. I don't know what somebody got the money back. Because once he passed away, the money you put up is just promise that you're going to return back to court. If you're no longer with us, you don't have to return back to the court. So who got that money? You know, did that go back to the state? Did that go back to Death Row? I don't know. I know Death Row didn't get it. During my tour, you know, the time I was running it, and I was running it from 97 of, not 97, 97 of July until about 2002. I know no check for $1.5 million came back from New York State, you know, on behalf of Tupac Shakur.
Oh, right.
So.
Okay, so you guys just put up the whole cash. Yeah. You guys didn't like put 10% up or anything.
No. No, you got to put up the money. It's not no appeal bond. No, you got to put up $1.5 million cash. And that was the issue. People to come up with $1.5 million. That's why, you know, Pac didn't have it.
Shit, looking back, it seemed like a no-brainer. All the money he was going to generate.
Yeah, but 95 was different times. $1 million is $1 million. Put y'all in contents of what $1 million was then. Magic Johnson had what we thought was the greatest contract of all times. You remember that $25 million deal for 25 million years?
Yeah.
We thought that was like, oh, God, oh. These motherfuckers now making, you know, 30, what, 40, 45 million a year. A year. $1 million is a lot different than what y'all know, so that's why it don't seem like that much, because $1 million was a lot of money back in the 90s.
Yeah, it was.